All right, we are back with Lisa Waterslane in the studio. She comes each week with your garden questions.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had storms.
We've had
We've had,
storms.
we scraped ice off on, what was it, Tuesday and Wednesday, and
Yep.
lots of ice melt. And
Mm-hmm.
still,
It's
gardeners are
cold.
coming in. They're
Oh yeah.
still looking at stuff. It's kind of
Yeah.
fun.
It is fun.
That's hardcore. Gardeners come to a garden center in an ice storm. That's just hardcore.
Well, dedicated gardeners.
There you go. Dedicated gardeners in winter. Got to be in winter.
Oh yeah.
I talked to a customer um, yesterday, this morning. Anyway, sometime it's been a whirlwind. It's been a whirlwind.
Yeah.
And new from Colorado, just came down, sold a ranch up there, bought a ranch down here, and she's going, the weather is so great. I love it down here. It's minus like 2 degrees at home, and it's like 23 here. It's great.
Right. It's all relative though, right? We were in Phoenix earlier in the week and I was like, oh man, this is kind of nice to have some warmth. But
and they were all in parkas. The natives in Phoenix were in parkas. We're down there in like a t-shirt, and it's perfect.
Right.
But people have been coming in. The questions are there. It's lighter. It's a lighter flow.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, a garden center. We don't have a tomato plant garden, section right now. We've got the winter vegetables. We've got those. We got the winter herbs, but that full-on huge department that takes up 1,000 square feet or more, it's kind of closed off at the moment. Now it's winter evergreens. Lots of houseplants. The hard goods just came in. So pottery's coming in. It's kind of the 2022 stuff that we ordered like back in August is now
finally
arriving.
Showing up. Yeah.
We've been looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, it's a good planning time of year. So planning your garden, especially vegetable gardens, because you do want to rotate crops. You want to maybe move things that didn't perform well. You need to move them to other areas. So it's a good time to plan.
You know what I find now is the weather, it went from really nice, almost late summer, early fall. It went from autumn weather to winter like this week.
Yeah.
And so we went from, it's going to be 38 tonight. Oh, it's so cold, to no, it's 19 degrees. Yeah. It went like overnight, and it caught some of the faucets. So I've heard at the higher elevations, some of the water pipes broke because they just weren't ready. You got to power up insulate the well, watch your backflow preventers, the faucets. Like we put styrofoam, basically covers over top of our outside faucets, even though they're frost free, just to ensure they don't have issues. So that's been some of the stuff. Anyway, what kind of questions we got this week? Is anything exciting new?
Oh, they're all exciting.
Listeners are going to go, wow, I can't believe they just covered that over the airwaves.
Sure, they're all that way, dear.
In our mind, in our world.
So Jerry has a question. He has a purple robe locust, fairly good size. With all the wind we had the other night, some broke 2 or 3 branches out of it. Yeah. Kind of left him pretty jagged. Wants to know if he should do anything with him at this point. Wait until he prunes. What's your thought?
Yeah, so purple robe locust, just for listeners that don't know what that is, it's a big shade tree, and it gets these great big purple flowers that hang down, kind of like wisteria flowers.
Beautiful.
Usually around Mother's Day. So it's right now it's dormant. It is deciduous, that is no leaves on it. But it must be a pretty substantial because the wind still, or the ice. I'll bet the ice got it.
It could be.
Ice got on it, loaded it down, then it just snapped off. If it's just jagged and it's not too bad, you don't have 2 main branches that are kind of wide, they're starting to fall apart, I would say don't worry about it right now. Enjoy the holidays. Drink eggnog.
You shouldn't be up on a ladder.
In an ice storm. But anytime after the new year, I would say when you're pruning everything else,
clean them up.
Yeah. I mean, I don't feel like you're in a rush unless it fell on your neighbor's house. I mean, some obvious things, which that doesn't seem like Jerry, wouldn't describe that.
No, just
so I think the pressure's off. I think you're okay. You might want to open it up or limit back some. There's some techniques to taking some of the weight off. You might research some of that or come talk to us, but I wouldn't be worried about it right now. I would say if this is the case for this plant, we want to set the stage for robust spring growth, I might fertilize it. So it's time to fertilize the end of the year. When you fertilize with the all-purpose plant food, the evergreens mainly keeps them green. So you just chuck it on the ground, let the snows and rains take it down. I would probably recommend that for this particular purple robe locust, just because it got broken. I can't visualize how much. That'll help it set the stage, bigger buds for next spring. You get better flowers next year. It'll just help you grow out of any mistake you might make, any broken branches that might have been there. That'd be it. Don't worry about it, Jerry. You're good.
that was your short way of saying.
Pretty much. I got to fill an hour here. So it's winter. There's ice in the ground. The listeners are inside sipping tea.
Well, our next part you can expand upon too. The next question. It's kind of a two-parter question. So Bonnie brought in some geraniums to winter over.
Yeah.
So the first part of her question is, should she trim them back to winter them over? And how often should she water? I guess it's a three-part question. And part three is
geraniums indoors.
There you go. And the other part is she's got soil gnats now or gnats in the house and wants to know how to get rid of those.
So I gather the gnats are they came in with the geraniums?
I believe so.
I'll bet so. So geraniums are not perennial here. So at the higher elevations, that is, they won't rest underground and then come back fresh every year from the roots bigger than before,
no.
like a peony or a Coreopsis echinaceus. There's a whole bunch of mountain perennials that come back every year. Yeah. This one will not. So you need to bring it indoors to protect it, to keep it from freezing. And so she's done that. And so when you bring plants from the outdoors indoors, it is very possible to bring what was living in that soil or on that plant inside. So she brought in fungus gnats. It's a little tiny gnat, kind of bugs you. It gets in front. It's attracted to light. Like you'll see them
TVs
come at you at your TV, through your computer screens, at the windows. Kind of a nuisance. They're living in the soil. So there's a maggot stage to that particular plant, and they love warm, tropical kind of soils. So the maggot, the worm, is inside the soil. The gnats are just up for just 2-3 days, laying more eggs, and there's a cycle to it. You need to get rid of the gnats, and you're good. The worms, the larva stage of that, and you're good. So you sprinkle some systemic granules. Is probably come talk to us. We can show you exactly what that is. There's some granules called systemic granules. Sprinkle on the ground, water it in, obliterates the worm. They can, if you're not careful though, they'll quickly migrate from the geraniums to your other houseplants, and they can kill your plants. They eat the roots of the plants. This is not good. You should deal with them. So, okay, that's how you deal with the gnats. That was the easiest part. Should I trim them back? How much should I water? Trim them back. I mean, sometimes geraniums are used as houseplants. They can be a little dirty as they bloom. They shed some petals and stuff, but let your robot vacuum them up. They're fine. It depends on where she's got them. If it's in a garage, I wouldn't worry too much.
Just let
them be. If they're in a crawl space and in the dark, I'd cut them back hard. Let them rest. Let them go to sleep. If they're in as a houseplant, water them every 10, 14 days. They're fine. Treat them like a houseplant. So there's some variables with that. Generally, what we say is prune them back because it gets so big outdoors. Trim them back some so they don't take up so much real estate in your living room or your Arizona room or wherever. And then just water them and care for them. You're going to bring them back outdoors the end of March, sometime first of April. You can put them back outdoors, and they'll start growing again. You fertilize them with that flower power. Make a special fertilizer, liquid fertilizer for blooming plants. That'll bring them right back into bloom. But that's how you do it. So I'd say that with Coleus, Bacopa, impatience. There's so many things you can do that with here.
Mandavillas.
There's so many. Jasmine. There's so many that won't winter over outdoors, but they will indoors. And then if you make a mistake, I know a couple that owns a garden center in Prescott that would sell you another geranium if you need it there, Bonnie. So great questions this week. So we are out of time. Thanks, Lisa, for being here. Ken and Lisa Lane, the Mountain Gardeners here at Waters Garden Center. Be right back after these important messages.